All right, now this morning our focus will be on one county. Now this county is one that has a population of, according to the 2009 census, over 528,000 people in terms of population. Now in this county is located right here in the middle of this map here, right in the middle. This is none other than Kirinyaga County. The areas around this place, remember, just at the top here, as you can see, it is dark because of the Mount Kenya region here. Okay, so if at all you observe this diagram here, Kirinyaga is surrounded by Nyeri County, Embu County, and Muranga County to around, and it has been divided into different constituencies, where we have Kirinyaga East, Kirinyaga West, the Mwea, and Kirinyaga Central. These are now the sub-counties that we have. Now it's all about Kirinyaga County this morning, or when we talk about the county government of Kirinyaga, where they talk about bidii yetu, utajiri wetu. This morning, our focus will be on County Watch. The governor of Kirinyaga County is none other than Anne Waiguru, with whom she has made headlines in the recent past with regards to how she has been governing the county government of Kirinyaga. This morning, our focus will be on how developed is Kirinyaga County. How far are they in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of development? Do you think Kirinyaga County is doing well? County Watch starts now. All right, now this morning I'm joined by a member of County Assembly, that is Honorable Gudson Muchina. Karibu sana mheshimiwa.
Thank you, asante karibu.
He's the ward representative of Tebere ward.
Yeah.
And also the chairman of the committee in delegated legislation.
Yeah.
All right, keep the hashtag going on Twitter. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya. Tag me. My official handle is at Ram Maguko. Our colleagues' handle is at Jane Wambui. Our official station handle is at KBC Television. The SMS line is on, up and running, 20154. Start texting, start commenting, starting with the word Channel 1, with no space, and the number 1. County Watch. So far, first things first, how do you think Kirinyaga County is doing? So far, I'm seeing your governor is talking about being an ODM-dominated zone. You should welcome the handshake.
Thank you. First of all, let me say thank you for the invite of this show. For the first time I've been here in KBC.
It's your first time, karibu sana.
Yeah, asante sana. What I can say is about our county. As we are talking, we can rate it at about now, as a leader who focuses on the issues of the common person in Kirinyaga. We are not yet halfway. We are not yet 50%. We are reaching about 40, 45. We have a long way to go to make sure that Kirinyaga raises more.
Still have a long way.
A long way to go. Secondly, on the issue of embracing the handshake, everybody embraced the handshake because of the peace in the country and other things. But when it comes to issues of political issues, that one depends on one's perspective.
Your governor is saying that Mount Kenya region is ready for ODM, the Raila Amolo Odinga.
She's entitled to that. She's entitled to that as a personal decision.
You don't believe already?
I don't say I don't believe, because we have diversity of ideas and diversification of many leaders in our county and in our region, and we are yet there. We are not yet in the political mood. They want to set us in the political mood that we are not yet in. First of all, we want to concentrate on what we call development. Then politics will come later. But on the issues of the handshake, we embrace, because one thing, it has made this country governable. It has made this country become peaceful. So, but when it comes now to issues of individuals on political issues, that time will come.
That time will come.
Yes.
So the governor, in her own, those are just her own opinions?
Of course, yes.
You don't stand with that? You just say the handshake has brought peace, and we thank God for that.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Remember that she said that I won't just sit and watch as leaders destroy our house. We may be having issues, but we can't just destroy what has held us together for decades because of an outsider. That's what she said, because of Raila Amolo Odinga. We only need our votes. No one understands the needs of the region like President Uhuru Kenyatta, and we must support him.
Let me say one thing. This is all what we have been yearning for in this country, seeing our leaders working together for the sake of this nation. Because if we divide this nation, nobody will run away from this country. We are all for this country. So we embrace the peaceful coexistence, the peace that is there, the leadership that is going on, all inclusive. We appreciate that because now, even yourself, you can tell the nation now is peaceful. We can do our things comfortably. So the handshake brought peace in this nation. But when we talk of now the handshake and we mix with the 2022 politics, we now deviate from the essence of the handshake.
Okay. Let me touch on one aspect before we get deep into Kirinyaga politics and Kirinyaga development. You talk about the handshake. We have the BBI.
Yes.
And on the other end, we have the Punguza Mizigo.
Yes.
They will come to your county.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
Do you support the Punguza Mizigo? Do you embrace it?
One thing, let me tell you. If there will be a referendum, on my own view, the referendum should be based on making sure that the burden that is with our people is reduced. And if Punguza Mzigo is the one that will bring these changes that we want,
you will go for it?
I'll go for it. If it is BBI that will bring the changes that will touch the common mwananchi, we shall go for it. But what we are saying is, let them all come together, bring to us, if they want us to have a referendum, if there will be any, because even time, according to time, we can see it's somehow it's not possible with the timelines. If they will bring the issue of referendum, let the referendum be focused on the common person and making sure that devolution works, because we are losing focus on devolution in Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of focusing on devolution, earlier on you had talked about cohesion, unity, as we talk about people working together. And now I wonder, are your fellow members of County Assembly working it together? There's one interesting bit here. 12 elected MCAs were ousted out of their own key house committees, and they were replaced by nominated members of county assemblies, including you.
Yes, but we went to court, and the court returned the normacy until the case is heard. We have laws in this Kenya. Assemblies are governed by law. So let us wait for the court case.
But why were you removed from your
you see, if I discuss those issues here now, I will be preempting our case in court. So I can't be able to discuss those issues here. Let them be decided by the court.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Even as we find out how elected members of county assemblies can be replaced by nominated members, 12. Okay, that's interesting there. But as it may, that's fair enough. If at all we talk about your relationship with the governor, how is it?
As a person, our relationship is good. Because one thing, for me, I campaigned for my governor during those time. Even if I was not a Jubilee member, I came back as an independent candidate, and still I campaigned for her. What I normally say is there is a difference between being on the side of the governor and working for the people. Me, I advocate for the working for the people, for our people. That's what I advocate. And even if she's the governor or anybody else is the governor, and yet my people are not getting what they're supposed to get, I have to raise an alarm. So because that is my work as an oversighter.
If they do a wrong thing, you will speak.
I will speak.
If they do a right thing,
I say this is good. Yeah. And I'm always like that. So on my relationship, it's a working relationship, no other issues. Yeah.
All right. But there have been complaints that there is a lot of gender imbalance in the county assembly.
No, please. There is no gender imbalance in the county assembly. the gender balance in the county assembly is very well represented.
Especially the formation of your own committees.
The formation of committees, it's only one committee that had an issue because of the chairmanship, the liaison committees. The liaison committee consists of the chairpersons, and the chairpersons became, or they were all men. So the issue of that committee is the only one that was supposed to be addressed. The other committees...
So gender balance is still...
Yes, the gender balance is there because in every committee, like the committee that I am the chair, we are 3 men, the others are ladies. We are 3 men, we have 6 ladies in the committee. So the committee of 9, 6 being ladies, where do you say even the men are the ones who are now imbalanced in that committee? Because when we talk of gender, we don't just talk of women. Gender is either men or women. And I don't know why we perceive gender to be only women. No.
It's not women.
No, not women only.
Let's talk about women. Do you believe that the women representative seat should be abolished?
One thing I would like to say.
On the same issue of gender.
The nation must come up with a modality of making sure that this gender issue is well addressed, because that is where we are failing. When we talk of these seats to be abolished, we are talking on the perspective of the economic status of the country. Because like now, if you take, for instance, in our case, in our county assembly, the elected members with the Jubilee Party were 15. When the nomination was done, 13 were nominated.
13 nominated?
13 nominated.
That
12 being ladies, 1 being man. 12 ladies. But you see...
Isn't that an irregularity?
I don't know, but that is something to be discussed in another forum. But to me also it's an irregularity. But you see now when a party nominates, nobody can question the party. You see now. So what I'm saying is, the issue of gender must be very well categorized, that when we come to elections, this issue is very well addressed, so that we don't have these seats of women which are creating a lot of spaces in the government and a lot of economic issues.
You're saying you'll be bashed. You're saying the women's seats are creating a lot of spaces.
You see, one thing, let me tell you, we embrace women in the leadership and we appreciate the work they are doing, but we must come up with a modality so that it may not be looked as if when it comes now to issues of gender imbalance, it's only women.
You know, your county is one that is so lucky to have one of the female governors.
Yes.
Meaning we have
and other counties must also follow suit, so that we may not have, and also women should come up for leadership.
But you're saying
they fight for
these seats that they are occupying, are they really doing their job?
Somehow they are doing, somehow, because according to the constitution, they are doing according to their mandate. You know, they cannot do what they have not been mandated to do. They are doing what the constitution says they should do. So we go back to the issue of the constitution. If we want to come up with a way of eliminating all these issues, we must come up with a very good constitution that will cater for all these things.
You talked about 13 nominated.
Yes.
MCS.
Yeah.
And elected at 15.
Yeah. Being
that we have, well, a balancing number here, 13 nominated and 15 elected, how do you normally do your, does it have an effect
a lot of
county business?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Because if you take about, we are all 20 elected, because 15 for Jubilee, 5 for independent. 13 are nominated. When it comes now to issues that pertains, the issues of being independent in the House, it's very difficult. Because when it comes now to issues of the party, they must be loyal to the party.
Because now you have 13 nominated from Jubilee Party.
Of course.
And another, within these 15, all 15 are from Jubilee Party.
15 elected are Jubilee Party.
Jubilee Party, so 15 plus 13.
Plus 13, so they are 28.
28.
Yes.
And the independent ones are 5.
We are 5.
So 28 versus 5.
Yes.
Then you should be agreeing in almost everything,
Of course,
but you don't.
we should not agree, because once you have an independent mind, it is not all about the party or independence, it is all about Wajiko. If you have an independent mind on what you think is good, it's not necessarily you agree with everything.
But being as it may,
Yeah.
over 20 are from Jubilee Party.
Yes.
County business should be running smoothly, being that they are from one party, speaking one language, from one party leader, speaking one mind. But the members of county assemblies from Kirinyaga County are not speaking in one language.
Or sometimes it comes on issues of interests. It comes on issues of interest. It's not necessarily you talk or they talk on the same voice. Because one thing, if somebody is for what he was elected for, he will stand for that, whether the government says this or this. And the work of the legislatures is to oversight. It's not necessarily to make sure that you say what the government is saying. If that issue you find that it's not well within your mind and within your people, you have to stand on your own. When it comes to issues concerning your people.
But I wonder how you even do voting.
No, sometimes we agree very well. We agree very well on issues that touches to our people. We agree very well.
So it's expected that Kirinyaga should be doing well, but it's not so far.
So far, not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Yes.
How is your relationship with the majority leader?
On personal level.
Kamau Murangwa. Personal,
on
whether
personal
personal
level,
or leadership-wise? Because
On
there we are
personal
talking about
level,
leadership.
we have no issue. On leadership, I have issues. And those ones I won't discuss it because still they are the same things that we are challenging in court.
In court?
Yeah.
Okay. Still same issues because you said those who are sent packing. He said you are incompetent and
But
constantly
you see,
engaging in retrogressive politics, and that you're affecting the running of the county assembly business.
There is something I would like to say. When you say people are incompetent, people who are elected by their own people, and you are also elected like them.
By the same people.
By the same people. But on the verge of being...
But remember, different words.
Yeah, from different wards. But my people elected me because they know I'm competent. But when somebody says I'm incompetent because of doing my work right, that one now takes another angle.
We are not going to talk about the court case, yeah?
Yes.
Let's talk about competency.
Yes.
Okay? As a leader.
Yeah.
Because what the majority leader said, and I'd like to quote him, he said the chairman had to go to pave way for the new crop of leaders who are ready to cooperate and work hard for the benefit of the Kirinyaga people. That you are incompetent, that you're not working well with the county assembly, that you're not cooperating. And in his own words, he talked about you constantly engaging in retrogressive politics. And that is where I pick my point from. Are you engaging in retrogressive politics in Kirinyaga County?
First of all,
how are you working towards making Kirinyaga County move to the next level together with other counties, county assembly members?
First of all, instead of just making a pronouncement, one should give evidence of what he says, that we engage in retrogressive politics in the assembly. I don't know what kind of retrogressive, because the work of the House or the assembly is to make sure it legislates. It legislates on the policies of the government. Which policies have been brought into that House and we did not pass? Which policy has been brought by the government? What has he, as the leader of the government business in the House, brought for us from the government we have not passed?
Is
Remember,
he the one with the problem?
remember, we passed what we call the budget unanimously, without any issues. And he's the one who brought the budget from the government.
And we will talk about the budget very soon.
You get me right? Now, when you say that we are engaging in retrogressive politics, what kind of politics is that? Am I not supposed to legislate? What am I what I was sent to legislate?
But you know, politics is different from legislation.
Yes.
Yeah, they are two different
They are
things.
two different things.
So
And
are
we
you
should not,
politicking
we
or
should not
legislating?
politic legislation at all. And what we are against is politicking on legislation.
Are you politicking?
It's not us.
You as an individual?
No. And remember, I have been the chair, and I'm also the chair of the delegated legislations in the House.
That is still to be pronounced by court.
It has already been pronounced that I should retain my seat until the court comes up with the decision.
Honorable
the final
Baptista
decision. Yes.
Kanga,
Yeah.
he said that, and I quote, the majority leader Kamau Murango is making it hard for the assembly to conduct its business and he must go.
You see, what I'm telling you is there is what we call politics and the legislation. And I would like to zero myself on the legislative issues. Personal issues, if they have their personal issues, both of them, I'm not there to. I'm not there to talk about them. But we talk about legislative issues.
Is this affecting legislative issues as a county assembly?
Very much.
This personal, as you may call
Yes.
it, are they affecting your work as a
It is
business?
affecting very much.
Because
it's affecting very much.
The Wanjiko is the one who will be hurt. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, they are the ones who need the money. They're the ones who need the development. They're the one who needs, you know, the services from the members of county assemblies.
Yeah, it is hurting very much. But you see, all this comes when the executive tries to muzzle what we call the legislative arm. That is when you see all these things happening. These all issues came when a certain lineup was called by the governor somewhere. That's when all these things started.
Okay.
And they brought the war in the house. So until they sit down as leaders and come up with a way of solving those issues,
So they're just personal.
those are personal, vested interests. Those are vested interests that has been brought in the house. We should not.
Let's talk about the budget.
Yes.
We have you still have pending bills that are owed to suppliers of over 100 billion shillings.
It's over.
And you also have a rollover budget.
Of course.
Why do we have such cases as a county government? Shouldn't you be doing better?
Now, that's why I said we are not yet even halfway in percentage.
100 billion is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And although there are challenges within the counties and the national government on allocation of revenues, but still on this issue, on my view, I thought it should have been given the first priority. Because remember, we had come from another region that started what we call the devolution now. The region had started very well and left some bills, pending bills that had not been paid. The new government, the best thing could have been done is to come in and make sure the pending bills have been cleared and the pending businesses like the projects are completed.
But isn't that why you are elected? To do this?
That's why we were elected.
But
And that's now where I come in.
You fulfilled your duty as an elected member,
Yes.
as someone who has been given the powers by the people,
Sure.
for the people. You've not done anything.
And that's now where now myself as a legislature elected in Tebere, now I differ with the government on such issues now. Because to me, I thought when we came in, we were supposed to first to do away with the pending bills and the pending projects. We complete them.
Yes.
Because they were people-oriented and they came from the people, those projects, which have never been completed to date. But when the new government came in, when our governor came in, which was very good, she said she cannot pay until an audit is done. And we said, well, Let the audit be done.
An audit of the previous.
The previous projects, the budget, the previous government's budget
Okay.
and projects, so that now the pending bills can be paid. The audit was done. We waited for the audit. The audit was done. But even up to date, no project has kicked off, and even those pending bills have not yet been paid.
Ever since the elections?
Ever since elections. 2 years down the line, nothing has been done. Now when it comes to that issue, I say now on this we differ, because we cannot work like this. A government should be just like a business. It should be led by like an investment, that you must clear first with what you started before you go to another project.
But then what have you been doing ever since elections? If you've not done any project, you've not started anything, what have you been
No, I'm not talking about starting new projects. We have started new projects,
Yet-
whereas the old projects that were given by the common people from the ward level have not been completed.
Earlier on, you said, Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
that no projects have been kick-started since you started the elections. Isn't that what you said?
Or maybe misquoted? No. I said this. The previous projects, the previous
projects.
government's projects,
Okay.
of which I was also part of that government that time. Like in my ward, I have 2 projects, a dispensary and a social hall. That is in Didiroku. Didiroku dispensary and Didiroku social hall, which have not yet been completed to date. They are part of the pending bills. When you go to Mwea East, we have a very magnificent agricultural offices, which have never been completed to date. That is in Motithi ward. So I'm talking about these projects now that were neglected. 2 years down the line, there is no completion of these projects.
Quite
Are we
sad.
together?
That's quite sad.
But we have started new projects.
You were in the previous regime.
Yes.
You had projects in your own ward.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you finish those projects?
Yeah, some were complete.
Some.
Some were complete.
How many? In terms of percentage, vis-a-vis those who are not completed?
Only
Percentage.
2 projects in my ward that were not completed during the previous regime. The others were complete. The others were complete. We had 8 projects that were complete, but the others have not been completed.
Well, there is a growing problem when it comes to rice imports from Pakistan.
Yes.
Which has become a threat to rice, and that is what is happening in Kirinyaga, bearing in mind that Kirinyaga where we have the Mwea.
Rice scheme.
Yeah, you should be doing well. Note that the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry, through its president Richard Angatia, he said on Saturday, well, a while back, that the imported rice is a threat to Kenyan farmers. How are you doing when it comes to dealing with this? How far are you? And why aren't you as members of county assemblies taking advantage of the Mwea irrigation scheme that is there?
You know one thing, with the Mwea irrigation scheme, it has never been devolved. It is in the national government, but we, in conjunction with the area MP, we have been working hand in hand and through NIB to make sure that we raise the standards of our farmers in Mwea. Whereas now, you know one thing with the issues of rice and the importation of rice, this is a challenge within this nation of ours. When this country signed the treaty on what we call liberalized market, that is the time we missed a point. Because even if we were to sign on the liberalized market, we were supposed to protect our products. The government could have come up with a policy to protect our products. Because importation of rice is allowed by the national government. So the national government is the one which is killing our industry. And as what we are doing now is to persuade the national government to make sure that the importation, before they import rice from outside, let them first exhaust.
So you're saying you have something within your own county, but you have no control over it?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Because even when we go back to agriculture, remember the national government has not devolved agriculture fully, and they're supposed to devolve. And these are the teething issues we are saying if you remember in the beginning, I said this nation must make sure that devolution is actualized completely.
It was in March, I am sure, that this should have been addressed. Because in March, you had the 6th annual devolution conference in Kirinyaga County. You could not have addressed this.
Let me tell you one thing. When you hear about the devolution conference, this is about governors. We have no say. The legislatures have no say. So we, even as we expected that,
So
we expected to hear anything about the lies in Mwea, but nothing was touched about lies.
Did you bring it up?
But how could we bring it up and we have no hand in preparation of these events? We have no hand on that. Even we expect our leaders, like the governor herself, we expect, because she's the leader of Kirinyaga, to present such issues.
Did you bring it to the governor?
No, this is something that is in...
Your own governor. I'm not talking about
Yes, our governor.
Your own governor.
Yes.
Whom you have reached to. You have her number. You have the
Yes.
ability to get to her office, even physically.
Of course, yes.
Did you bring the issue of Mwea to her table and make sure that it is devolved?
What I can tell you is this. I may not have given her, but as a leader of Kirinyaga.
As members of county assemblies?
Yes. As members of county assemblies, we have the reports that we have given the executive on the issues of rice since last term, last regime. The issues of rice in Mwea, the issues of horticulture in Kirinyaga, the issues of coffee in Kirinyaga, the issues of even tea in Kirinyaga. These are the crops that are economic hubs of Kirinyaga. So we expected that the reports that we have given all through, the issues we have raised all through, they will be addressed. But they were not addressed during that time. And that's the truth. There was nothing on rice that was touched during the devolution conference.
You've still not answered me, Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
Did the County Assembly of Kirinyaga County table this issue to do with about the Mwea?
They are
the
there.
table of the governor?
They are there. We have reports from Agricultural Committee that have been forwarded to the executive. And you know the work of the House is to make resolutions and the reports, then forward to the county government for implementation. And the Agricultural Committee in our assembly has done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do not have control over Mwea, and you have resources, but you
Of
cannot.
course, that's a challenge.
Quite sad indeed. Even as you talk about the budget, you still have a budget, but you do not know how it can be, devolved. Let's talk about health.
Yes.
Doctors have called they've raised an alarm, and they're saying your own hospitals have a problem that is a health hazard. A hospital is a health hazard to the people. That's ironical. And I will get deeper when we have Kirinyaga County Referral Hospital. What is the status so far? There were media reports concerning that hospital. I remember, I believe you saw them.
Yeah.
And they have been going round. And I don't know what the status is as of now, as we talk. And as you answer that question, maybe you can even tell us why we have allegations of mismanagement of these health institutions in the county. I remember that we have complaints cited. Amongst these complaints, we have poor sanitation in health facilities, mismanagement of the health institutions, and we also have, there was a joint letter that was drafted in May, a few months ago, addressed to the county secretary, that was written from the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union and the Kenya National Union of Nurses, together with the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers and the Kenya National Union of Medical Laboratories Officers. They say, according to the KMPD board, recommended that no more patients should be admitted at Kirinyaga. No more people should be admitted there. Then how are you handling your patients as a county?
That's a good question. You know, health in Kirinyaga has been in all the media houses, has been in the public domain, what has gone through. You know, one thing I normally say is first of all, it's good to accept the problem, then reason on how to tackle the problem.
And solve it.
The issue of health in Kirinyaga, sometimes it's said it was politicized, it was done what.
But we all know.
But we all know that it was true. The issues of Kirinyaga.
What was true?
It was true.
That it was politicized.
No. Me, I don't talk politics when it comes to issues of health.
Okay.
Because I clearly remember last year in October, a petition was brought in our house on the issues of health from the health practitioners in Kirinyaga. There were issues they wanted addressed. The Committee on Health in our county assembly sat and deliberated on these issues. They went on even site visits to those hospitals, and they saw that things were not going well. They came up with a report that was handed over to the executive for implementation. There were issues that were raised by the medics, and the committee brought the report in the House, and also the report was forwarded to the executive. But these issues were not addressed at the right time. So it is true what...
Were they ever addressed?
They were never addressed until now when things ran out of hand, when the media now came in.
Okay.
That is the time now.
That's when they started to,
yes.
to be active.
And if you remember when the former CEC was resigning early February this year, there were words that lady stated, but nobody listened to what that lady was saying. And in her final words, she said that Kirinyaga Health was a sinking ship, and she was not ready. I'm quoting her. She was not ready to sink
with the ship.
Nobody listened to those words. Because if those words were listened very well, the government could have come in to make sure that these things don't blow out of hand. And they went on and became out of hand. So the issues of health in Kirinyaga, people are suffering. That's the truth. Since that time, and it is because of lack of dialogue. It is because of lack of dialogue. Because I believe in one thing, that if things go wrong, we should sit down and address those issues.
There are some things that counties should lack, but lacking a medical doctor should not be among them. Lacking laboratory, people who deal with the laboratory, people who deal with the drugs, chemists, nurses. You should not have lack of sufficient staff as a county. Yet you do, and there are complaints that are raised that sometimes patients go to hospital and no one attends to them.
That's the correct thing. We have hospitals on the ground, we have dispensaries on the ground, and all these complaints we get and forward them to the relevant department. But you see, we have a challenge in our county. And I want to say this. When a government does not take care of its people's health, when a government does not take care of its people's education issues, that government should not count itself as a government that is prospering. Because when we lose on the issues of health as a county, we have lost it all.
Universal health care is part of the Big Four agenda.
That is true.
You're not even taking advantage of that.
You see, the challenge is one. When we don't listen, and sit down and talk and chat things out, you see, when we all chest thump ourselves, we can't get solution in anything. I'm calling for sobriety in all the stakeholders in this.
I'm wondering how you had approved 40 million shillings budget as a county assembly. You had approved 40 million shillings budget in the supplementary budget to pay workers, the casual workers who had, they went on a strike.
Yes.
And they were sacked. on April 24th this year, and because they had demanded to be paid their 4-month salaries as arrear, but was sacked shortly after.
Those are the things I'm saying now.
How do you sack?
Those are the those are the issues now. I say we lose our point, because you see these people, they had a reason to complain. In fact, they had not been paid for 4 months. That was the truth.
But you see, your county assembly approved 40 million shillings to pay them.
Yes.
Why did?
After, listen very carefully. Remember the budget when it was brought. And when it comes to issues of health budget in our assembly, let me tell you one thing. The whole of the assembly, we normally pass it unanimously on the issues of health. I remember before we passed this budget, we had to call the departments, and mostly the Department of Health, to ask them why do they want this money for, because health carries the largest amount of budgetary allocation in our county. We wanted them to explain to us why they needed that money. They explained, and we asked them one question. In a plenary, we asked them question. Do you want to tell us, once we pass this budget for you, these issues on health will be over? They told us yes. And we had no issue with the health budget. We passed unanimously on the issues of health budget of health. We passed unanimously. For us now to hear that we passed the budget, then there were no implementation of what we had passed. You see, that brings now questions.
So you did something without knowing? Is that what you're saying? That you did not know the implications of what you're doing, or the reasons why you did it, that you implemented, you passed something without knowing the purpose of it being passed?
No. We did it knowing that it is going to make sure that these people are paid.
After being sacked?
No. Even before they were sacked. Now for us to hear they were sacked, that was another issue.
So were you aware that they were going to be sacked?
No. And if you remember, we as the legislatures, we raised the alarm.
When did you know that they were sacked? Before you passed the budget or after you passed the budget? The budget?
After we passed the budget, that is the time they became sacked. Even after we passed the budget. And we asked why we have passed the budget for these people. Why are they being sacked?
What was the real answer?
No answer. No answer. There was no answer.
Yet they were demanding for what was right.
Yes, they were demanding for what
Is that
was
is
rightful.
that fair?
No, it wasn't fair at all.
It was last month that they threatened to strike.
Yes.
Your county assembly workers.
Yeah.
And if they threatened to strike, and there were complaints that, according to the courts in Kerugoya, I believe, so that the strike was illegal. Okay, and your governor said that they should go back to work because that strike is illegal. Now, how are you going to give or to bring confidence to the people of Kirinyaga that they can raise a complaint and they should not feel victimized after raising a complaint? Because in this, in these cases, we have families that have lost jobs.
Sure.
We have families that are may
That's
sleep
very
hungry.
correct.
Okay, so if a family, if a worker in Kirinyaga County complains about something and no one is hearing them, they go on a strike and then they get sacked and then they are paid money after being sacked. How are you going to bring confidence to your people that they can confide in you when they have a problem?
One thing I would like to tell you is that trust, once it erodes, to bring it back is very difficult. These people might not have confidence to do that. And that's why I was saying this issue could have been addressed there before, even before it came out of hand. Because the way we are handling it as a government in Kirinyaga, we are not handling it lightly. Because even if we force, let me tell you one thing. You can force somebody to go back to work, to be in that premises. Like now you can be forced to be in the premises of KBC, but you cannot be forced to work. Is that not correct? Mm-hmm. Because you are demoralized yourself. What I'm saying is the county government, through the leadership of our county government, we were advocating for the dialogue. Even if the court said the the strike was illegal. As a leader, as a man, as a father of the county, it was supposed to have, we were supposed to have a sitting. And that's what we agitated for as MCAs. If you remember, there was a time we were chased even by police with tear gases. When we wanted to demand for dialogue.
You're on the streets there?
We wanted to have dialogue.
But
That the medics can have a dialogue with the leadership of the county so that these issues can be sorted because our people are suffering.
Have you been to these medical hospitals, for example, Kirinyaga?
Yes.
Have you been there?
Yes.
Have you seen the sanitation, the status of cleanliness that is there?
During that time we went, and it was not good.
When was the last time you were there?
That time when the issues were hot. When the issues were hot.
So you only came out when it was hot?
But normally I usually visit some of my facilities.
Okay.
In my area.
In your area?
Yeah. On sanitary issues, they may be okay on our side, but on the service delivery, things are bad. On the service delivery, things are bad. Because like now, we used to have a maternity in one of my areas called Kiombo. Today, that maternity is not operational. And you know, from Kiombo to the nearest maternity, which is Kebembe, it's about 26 kilometers. You see? So things are not running as they're supposed to do. And something must be done.
There is mismanagement of these institutions.
Yes.
What are you doing about that? These complaints, remember, these are not fresh complaints.
Yeah, they're not fresh.
You are aware.
Yeah, I'm very much aware.
They are not fresh.
Yeah.
They are not things that came this year.
Yeah.
They have been there for a long time.
And we know that's the reason why you see even the Rangos now in the house. That's the reason why. Because if we don't have a strong legislature that can oversight on such issues, things go haywire.
Then based on what I'm hearing,
yeah.
Example number one, Moya.
Yes.
It is there, but the MCAs can do nothing about it.
Yes.
Example number two, Health, Kirinyaga. It has been there for a long time, but the MCAs are doing nothing, and you have not been able to do anything about it. So I cannot be able to give more examples, but we have not mentioned about education.
Yes.
We've not talked about the roads. We've not talked about the the projects that are there, of which you've said there are projects that are there, but you've not been able to do anything about them. So based on what I'm hearing, I think you can get the picture that the MCAs cannot do anything about anything.
I get it. Let me tell you one thing. When we were elected, and that's why I'm perceived to be opposition. That's what the perception, because me myself, I like talking my mind, and I like talking the truth. When it comes to issues that pertains pinning the government in the house to make sure it delivers, it's a challenge in our assembly. Reason being, the numbers I told you.
All of them are one party.
The numbers I told you. You see, but we who have the like-minded, we make sure that we make the government.
So are you saying the only people who have mind like yours
Yes.
are five?
Yeah,
You
we
and
are
four
only five.
others?
Yes.
So
now
the rest,
this is the time now we are getting others, now we are 12. Now we are 12.
where they
And we are
come in?
moving on.
Keep texting us. The SMS line is 20154. Start with the word channel 1. Tell us what you think about Kirinyaga County and its development plans as we know it. Remember, you don't have a speaker.
Sure.
Why? So what's the solution? What's the way forward now that you don't even have a speaker?
Now, the law is very clear when the speaker resigns. We have the standing orders, and that's exactly what we expect now the assembly through the CAC to do. The standing orders are very clear that when the speaker resigns, now it's the work of the clerk to give direction through the deputy speaker. The deputy speaker officiates an election of a member of the House to be the speaker until the seat is advertised for us to get a speaker.
According to the standing orders, does the deputy speaker become the acting speaker as of now?
No.
How are you going to be handling?
They tried to maneuver that after the speaker resigned. They tried to change the standing orders, of which is unconstitutional.
So
it's unprocedural.
So he cannot be the acting speaker.
No, he cannot be the acting because he's a deputy. According to the
so
law.
they were changing the standing orders.
Yeah, we are changing the standing orders to suit that issue. To suit that issue during that period when the speaker has resigned. They tried to change the standing orders to suit that, but the standing orders are very clear. That's also an issue that we shall address very soon.
That you may not be able to reach to consensus.
Of course.
So many issues
but the
are
law
yet
is
to be
very
addressed,
clear.
but you...
The law is very clear. We may not have consensus, but remember the code side, the status quo. That's the order that is there. So when the status quo is there, everything that was done between that period have been stopped until the court gives its direction. So the status quo means we should follow the standing orders, what it says.
I wish you the best
Thank you.
as you follow the standing orders
Yeah.
and bring out sanity in the county
In the county
assembly.
assembly.
So far we have in education, how are you doing in terms of education in the county?
You know, Kirinyaga County has been the forefront to be the best in education when it comes to primary school level. But when it comes to secondary school level, we are trying to make sure it tallies with the primary school level.
When you say trying, based on this conversation, since we started talking, if you say trying,
you know
it
why?
doesn't look
You
good.
We are doing everything possible. We are doing everything possible to make sure that we raise the standards even up to the secondary level. Yeah, on our side, you know, after devolution, the only thing that was devolved to county government was only the ECDs. Mostly we deal with the ECDs, but as leaders, we have a take on the issues of education in the county as stakeholders. And we are very keen to make sure that our schools perform, and they are performing.
They are performing.
Yes. There before, like when we take in case of Mwea had been having very minimal, back 10 years back, have been very minimal transition from secondary school to university level. But as we are talking now, the transition is very high. Like last year, one school in my area called Gathigiriri Secondary School took 15. And it's a day school, eh?
It has quite an interesting name there.
Yeah, Gathigiriri.
Gathigiriri.
It took 15 students to university. That's a plus.
That's a plus.
That's a plus.
And now I'm looking at now it in two ways also.
Yeah.
I am seeing that one department or one issue affects the other.
Yeah.
The Kenya National Union of Teachers Kirinyaga Branch Secretary General, that is Javan Washira. Yeah, he said that the strike in all of the county's 56 health facilities has hurt learning since most classrooms are half empty.
That's true. That's true because, you know, these children, most of them depended very much on our health facilities when they get sick. And when now they get sick, you find that they have nowhere to go. So parents have to keep them at home.
And in the occasion where the parent is on that is sick.
You see now, let me talk the truth here. Let me tell you, we have a challenge, a big challenge. Call a spade a spade. On the issues of health in Kirinyaga, unless our government thinks otherwise, things are not good on the ground.
So we cannot say, in as much as health is not doing okay, education
will also be affected. Because they tally, they coexist. Because these students are the ones which are in school. When they fell sick, when their parents fell sick, what do you expect? We expect them not to attend schools. Because if one has to go to Embu, let's say for instance from where to Embu to seek for medication, maybe today she or he will go, he will not be attended, maybe it should be attended tomorrow on another day. He has lost 3 days
Okay.
in school.
Muchina, I know we are touched on this, but I'd just like you to be specific here.
Yes.
Why did you have a rollover budget?
It's a lack of implementation. In our county, we have that weakness of implementing the budget. And that has been my concern. And even in our assembly, why I'm perceived to be very harsh is because...
They call you the opposition leader?
The minority leader. They call me that, but I'm not the minority. I'm the majority of people of Tebere. I'm the majority leader of the people of Tebere. You see, it is very wrong. If, like now, we passed a budget, 2019-2020. As we are talking to date, it has not yet kicked off the implementation of our projects. That has caused the roaring over. 2017-18, when we came in, we had a budget, we rolled over a budget of 864 million.
864.
To 2018-2019.
That's a reflection of
That's
the
correct.
service you're giving.
In development, we are we are doing very poorly. Even the budget controller has raised a red alarm on that through his reports that the absorption rate of our development money component is very low. It is because we don't have departments that are free to manage themselves. That's the problem.
Oh, all right, moving forward. Development, roads, how are you? I'm aware that you have the Kenol Makutano Sagana highway that,
Yes, that's coming through our county. That's a plus to us.
That's a plus.
That's something we can commend the Jubilee government and President Uhuru and Deputy William Ruto because of that road. One thing I would like to say about that road is it will be very beneficial to our county. Remember, through that project, we are going to have what we call a trauma hospital in Sagana. A trauma hospital in Sagana. We are going to have that town upgraded, the Sagana town will be upgraded through the same project. The issue of what we call economic status of that belt along that road.
It will be lifted.
To be lifted.
But as we speak,
yes,
there are complaints that in the process, you're going to kill businesses because you'll have to move some people, relocate, because there are more than 400 homes that will have to be, relocated from one place to the other. Businesses will have to be, closed down as we talk about demolition, because as you construct, you demolish.
Of course, everything has its own repercussions.
How are you
pros
going
and
to
cons?
How are you going to ensure that you don't kill businesses?
Those things are being addressed through the public participation meetings that are being held, the stakeholders meeting. You remember there was a time our governor they were in that meeting where they were discussing about these issues, even about compensation of those people. And I understand compensation has kick-started, but compensation of those people. So when development comes in, you must expect these things. And because we want to grow, we must also embrace. Like now, if I give an example, in our case in Kirinyaga, you remember we asked for a dam, a very big dam. That is the Thiba Dam. For it to happen or to materialize, people had to be relocated. And there was a sequence of meetings. There was a sequence of meetings that followed on public participation on the issues of the environmental impact, the economic impact of the relocation of these people. You see, all those things were addressed. The same case, because this is a mega project, those things are being taken care of. And we really appreciate. You remember there was a time we really complained because the project had been diverted. And taken through Muranga. We raised alarm. So to us, it's a plus, because
isn't this going to be one of those projects that someone will come later and say these guys started this, but they did not even finish. How sure are you going to give, you know, what assurity are you giving the members or the residents of your own county that this is going to be one project that will pass, that will succeed, and we are not going to hear that a scandal will come up in future?
We believe in everything we believe. We have a positive mind that things will happen. Because if we have a negative mind, it won't happen. Nothing will happen.
So we just have faith, huh?
We have faith that it will happen. And we think it's a legacy that our president will have left for us, a legacy of that road. So we believe he is going to finish it.
At Karuga Kamau.
Yes.
On Twitter.
My young boy.
You know him?
Yes.
He's saying the current Anne Waiguru government trashed the pending projects with no concrete reasons. When questioned about them, she marks you as an enemy and withdraws funds and development from your ward. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that true?
There have been issues, but there was no money that was withdrawn. It's only that those projects have not yet been done to date. And it's not only in my ward. In the whole of Kirinyaga, all the other wards have pending projects from the previous government that have never been completed.
He says health in Kirinyaga is a failure. Up to date, the county has no health CEC. Drug shortage is still an issue still today. The governor was so proud not to listen to the former health CEC, Dr. Agnes, when I think she tried to hold up the sinking health ship.
Yeah, I have no comment on that.
No comment on that? Huh?
Yeah, no comment on that. Yeah.
Okay.
But the issues of health we have addressed, and that's the truth. That's the truth.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Finally, we have a comment here. It says the county government of Kirinyaga is not doing well. I will avoid using the word that the person has used. He's not doing well, and I wish the MCA would just speak the truth.
Yes.
Someone does not have faith in what you're saying.
Maybe, you know, you may say something that somebody misunderstands you, but the truth is, and I said, when we rate the county government of Kirinyaga, it's below average. It's below average.
Below average.
We are not doing well because we need to see things roaring. I have told you.
But that is where you come from, remember?
Yes. We have rolled over 2 budgets. We have rolled over 2 budgets without implementing. 2017, 2017-18, 2018-19. We have rolled over.
Let's bring this discussion to a close, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Final question. What is it that is in Kirinyaga County that should make other people, other members of county assemblies, other counties to come to your own county and do benchmarking?
In our county assembly, legislative. In fact, we are among the best legislative assemblies until the time when all these squabbles came in. In fact, on legislative issues, we have been the best.
Okay. So in terms of legislation, you're good?
Yeah, we are good. But when it comes to issues of development, we are not yet equal to our task.
But you know,
we need to do more.
Legislation is just sometimes inaweza kuwa maneno ya mdomo.
But
what is being felt on the ground?
Yeah.
Do you have anything that people can come and do benchmarking?
That's the challenge now we have. That's the challenge now we have. Because we cannot say what we have done on the ground, that we can tell people, come and see what we have done.
So do you say you have nothing?
Of course, what we have within 2 years, we cannot call it something to be proud of. Taking into account, we have another
to be proud. It is something, but not to be proud of. But is there nothing? You know, those are
no. We can't say there is nothing. There is, because we have not been asleep. Work we have been going on, but with a very minimal pace. That's the truth of the matter. I told you, I call a spade a spade. I call a spade a spade. What have been done cannot be felt. There is something that has been done, but it cannot be felt on the ground, and we need to do more to make sure that all the projects that our people wants done, they are done. We should stop rolling over monies from one year to another year. We make sure our absorption rate of development component, which is the greatest weakness of our government, the absorption rate from the national government of development monies should be upgraded, should be accelerated. And because the governor herself has said that this time around she's going to accelerate, we are waiting to see. Because as I have told you, 2017, 2018, we rolled over to 864 million. 2018, 2019, we have rolled over about $1 billion to 2019, 2020. Like the word fund, nothing has been done the whole of last year. We rolled over the whole amount.
All right. That's a good place to end this discussion. That is Honorable Gudson Muchina, Member of County Assembly from Kirinyaga County, and the representative for Tebere Ward, putting matters, politics, and development of Kirinyaga County into perspective. Mheshimiwa? Yes. Asante sana.
Asante pia.
And I wish you the best even as you find a way to retain your seat there. As
the seats we have retained. Hey, brother, what's wrong? You don't believe on our courts?
You've retained the seats?
Yes, we are on our seats back to normal.
I have faith.
Yes.
I have faith.
Yeah.
And I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Keep it KBC. That's a good place to end this discussion. Thank you very much for keeping it KBC. County Watch ends now. We were focusing on Kirinyaga County. Next week, next time, it might be your own county. So watch out for this. It's one of the best things you can ever have. Our SMS line is still on. Keep texting, keep tweeting. Start with the word Channel 1 on our SMS line 20154. On Twitter, we are at KBC Television. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya. May God bless you. May God bless the work of your hands. See you again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for Good Morning Kenya. My name is Ram Maguko. Have a blessed day.